Hello and welcome to another manga spotlight. This is a B rank adventurer with an evil face, and this is actually a adaptation of a light novel series by Enji. And for this manga, Kogami is the one that's doing the illustrations and stuff. And the basic gist of this is a evil looking guy decides to raise a bunch of orphans as his own, and just the kind of misadventures that they get up to. So the little summary here. Gray, a B-rank adventurer, was supposed to be just a mob character in the RPG Bright Fantasy. However, by chance, he saved an orphan who was attacked by thugs on the roadside and decided to raise him as his father. But the orphan turned out to be the hero of this world, Iska. This choice would greatly change the fate of the world. So yeah, this is an isekai, and like a lot of other isekais out there, our main character, Gray, started off in the regular world, our world, and then somehow he gets transported into this video game universe that's heavily inspired by like European medieval fantasy. And the character that he actually ends up playing is, as the summary said, a mob character. He's actually a thief. And not only is he a thief, but he's actually a character that the hero ends up fighting and killing when the hero grows up. So yeah, his fate is basically to die to the hero. And so we immediately start off with the hero as a small child and the hero's childhood friend, who in the future will become his love interest, begging Gray to help them. And we get just like a really brief flashback where we just see Gray talking about his life, how he grew up in our world. He played a video game called Bright Fantasy. He doesn't really know too much about it. Like, he watched his friend play a lot of it, and he bought the game for himself, but he never got a chance to play it before he was sent to this world. And he realizes that when he got sent to the world, he's not sent as the hero. Instead, he was sent as this mob character, and he actually comes across the hero when the hero is still a kid. And he is a B rank adventurer. His specialty is like a thief, and he just has this really evil look about him. Like, he has the classic anime sharp shark looking teeth. Whenever he smiles, he looks like he's up to no good. Like, he just has like this big like evil grin. He looks very like stern and angry all the time. He basically puts off a lot of people. Like, a lot of people are kind of just freaked out about him, and there's a bunch of rumors that he causes a bunch of evil shenanigans and he like takes women against their will and stuff like that. Of course, the people at the guild don't necessarily believe that, so that's why they're still willing to work with him. But this is just like the normal village folk. They just think he's a no good person. And when they see the hero as a child, basically two children kneeling in front of him, basically begging for help, there's rumors that he's forcing them into slavery. Yeah, basically he can't do anything right in the village's eyes. But what happened was, one day the hero and his childhood friend were selling flowers, and this passerby came and, kicked him in the chest and knocked him to the floor. And Gray saw this and immediately kicked the guy in the face and, used his healing magic on the hero and says, hey, I'll buy some flowers for you. So they know he's like a good person. So they immediately rush over to him and they start telling him like, hey, we need your help. We don't have any parents or family. One of our friends is really, really sick, but we don't really have any money at the moment. So like, would you still be able to help us? He's like, don't worry about it. Like, you guys can pay me back whenever you feel like it, like whenever you can. And he's walking with the kids to this rundown shack that the kids work at. And as that's happening, he's basically realizing, like, I was reborn as a villain. If I proceed to play my part, I'm going to die. Usually what I want to do is I want to avoid the hero as much as possible, because the hero is going to end up killing me. So me helping the hero out right now is just putting me in a bad situation. Like, I should not be interacting with this kid at all. I should run away as far as possible. But I can't do that, because even though my programming, quote unquote, is to be evil and play this role, I can't do that. Like even he even says like even if getting involved with the protagonist leads to my death, that's no reason not to help them. Not that I want to go ahead and die. I just don't want to live regretting not doing what I could. So immediately I was like, oh, okay, this guy's awesome. Like this guy is willing to help out these kids because he can't abandon them. Even if he knows that helping them is going to put him in a situation that could lead to his certain death later on. If he can help them now, then there's no reason for him not to. He goes into this rundown shack where there's a bunch more kids there. The oldest is 11. And one of the girls, her name is Stella, she's sick. And Gray goes over to her and does like a quick scan and realizes that she's not sick. Like she doesn't have. What's wrong with her is that she's a half blood. She's half vampire, and she's basically just malnourished. That's why she's really weak right now. And so, what Gray does is he leaves and he goes and buys a bunch of food and he brings it back and he cooks a giant meal for all these kids, and all the kids instantly, start thanking him, and they just can't believe that someone out there is willing to help them out and stuff like that. One of them, named Nina, assumes that Gray is her dad and starts calling him Dada. And this just kind of seems to hit something in Gray. And Gray basically makes the decision to adopt all these kids. So he goes and he decides to take missions that can be done in a day, so he can always be back to help the kids out by nightfall. And eventually he makes enough money. And the way he makes money is kind of hilarious. Basically, there's a mission to go kill an orc. So not only does he go and he kills the orc, but he also chops off the orc's testicles because you can sell it as an aphrodisiac for a high price. So we just have this a funny moment where Gray has just this evil smile on his face, and he's laughing maniacally as he's telling this orc, "I'm going to chop off your balls." But yeah, he gains money. He starts using the money to repair the dolls that the kids had that have been worn with use and just stuff like that. He buys a house and he brings all the kids in, so the kids start living with him. And so he basically starts raising these kids as their dad. And it's just this kind of comedic, heartwarming slice of life story about this guy who he's evil looking. Everyone always thinks he's this evil, no good guy. But he actually has a heart of gold, and he goes against the role that he should be playing. He was put in as a mob thief character who is supposed to be a villain, but he has a conscience. He can't do that. So instead, he's trying to do whatever good he can. But no one's really willing to see that in him because of the fact that he's a thief, or at least that's his job class, and he looks like a no-gooder. Right now, the manga only has 2 chapters, but the light novel is way ahead of it, and I've been keeping up with the light novel. I'm not all the way caught up, but I have been reading further ahead in time. There is romance that plays a part later on, or at least there seems to be hinting towards romance. Thankfully, this series does not seem to be pulling a Usagi drop. So yeah, it doesn't seem like Gray is going to fall in love with any of the kids. This isn't one of those grooming isekai stories, thank God, because those are just really weird. Where you have the guy raising a kid and then he ends up marrying that kid. That's just ugh. But here the kids see him as their dad, their father figure, and in turn he sees them as his own children. So we don't have any of that weirdness, thankfully. And the girl who seems to be his romantic interest is actually his ex-girlfriend, who he used to team up with. And the reason why they broke apart, it wasn't because of any nefarious reasons. It wasn't because they fell out of love or anything like that. It was just basically she wanted to progress higher in the rankings, and he didn't really care about that. Like he was just willing to just remain a B rank, but she wanted to like climb up the ladder and become an S rank. There's also this like group of female warriors that like they're their S tier and they're like the best of the best. And she wanted to be a part of that, and she ends up becoming a part of that. And so they have like a mutual breakup, like, hey, I know we still have feelings and stuff, but we both want separate things in our lives. So yeah, good luck, and hope to see you. And yeah, eventually she ends up coming back, and I don't know where it goes from there. I guess we'll find out as I keep reading it. But what I've read so far has been really great. I love just the little like father moments he has, especially with Nina. Like she takes an instant liking to him. She calls him Dada, and then eventually some of the other kids start calling him Daddy as well. But yeah, like just the moments where like, you know, he's feeding her, he's like wiping her nose because she has, you know, snot running down. The fact that he's willing to use a huge chunk of his paycheck to fix her doll. It's just these heartwarming little moments where you can see that he's actually a pretty damn good father for these kids. But there you go. There's a B rank adventurer with an evil face. I recommend it. Like I said, it's only 2 chapters right now, but I'll leave a link not only to where you can read the manga, but also where you can read the light novel. I recommend reading the light novel as well. It's good. I like it. I like where the story is going so far. I guess I'm not caught up with the light novel, but from what I've read, I've enjoyed it. And yeah, it just seems to be just this nice slice of life moment of this evil looking NPC mob character who raises a bunch of kids, including the hero. And just like the family moments between the two. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed. Hope to see you next time. Take care. Later. So what'd you guys think of that video? Hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe, hit that bell for a notification, leave a like if you enjoyed the video. And if you didn't enjoy the video, thank you for watching it this far, and I hope the next video is more to your liking. Feel free to check out the playlist that you guys see, and I hope to see you guys next time. Later.